Today I will do the first flight on PilotEdge, that's Sunnyside, which is a non-towered airport, to a towered airport, Yakima, and both of these airports are in Washington state. And if you click this shortcut to Sky Vector, it brings you here, and you can see Sunnyside is right here and Yakima is right here. So after taking off from Sunnyside, we will make a slight right turn towards northwest where Yakima is located, roughly 18 nautical miles. And Yakima is a Class D airport. If I zoom in here, you will see the Class D boundary right here. So before entering the Class D airspace, we will make a call to Yakima Tower to get clearance for landing, and then we'll make our entry. And I will start descending roughly about here, just a slow and shallow descent. So I'll start descending from here, go a bit towards this side because most likely we'll get clearance for runway 27, which is this one right here. So we'll go in like this and make a straight in entry. I have started XPlane 12 and I am at Sunnyside. Now I will go and connect to my PilotEdge account.
Connected to PilotEdge.
Alright, now we are connected. I have pulled up the frequencies that we are going to need. For Sunnyside, first is CTAF frequency because it is a non-towered airport, 122.9. Then we will need AWOS, 123.675. And then once we are in the air, we are going to need ATIS for Yakima, that is 125.25, and finally the tower for Yakima, that's 133.25. I have entered the frequencies into my G1000 unit using the COM buttons. I will use COM1 for transmitting and I will use COM2 only for listening to ATIS or AWOS information. Now let's go ahead and listen to AWOS for getting the weather at Sunnyside.
80 degrees at 8 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. Sky clear. Temperature 17. Dew point -7. Altimeter 29071.
Altimeter 29071. I should have entered 71 on the G1000 unit, but I entered 290.75 by mistake. So that showed a slight variation in the elevation of the airport. I'll pull up Sunnyside on 4 flight and the elevation, you see it as 768 feet and our G1000 is showing 780. There is a slight variation, but it's within the tolerance range, so that's okay. Since we have weather information, we'll make a call on CTAF to let everyone know that we will begin taxiing. I will pull up 4 flight again and you can see that runway 25 has the best wind, so that's where we will take off. Here's my push to talk button on the Honeycomb Alpha that I will use to make the call. Sunnyside traffic Skyhawk November 2446 Zulu at tie down location 1, taxiing towards runway 25 to take off for Yakima, Sunnyside. Let's begin taxiing, brakes off. I'm going to speed up some portions of the video to just make it a bit quicker for YouTube. Taxiway is right here between the lights. This is where I would have gone through my taxi checklist, but for the purposes of this video, since we are focused on the ATC part of things, I'm going to skip the checklist here. I'll hit direct to on the G1000 unit and put Yakima as our destination so that it gets loaded on the GPS. Almost running off the taxiway here, let's get back, and I have some sensitive brakes on the pedals. Yakima is entered, hit enter, enter to load it. I will stop here and look to the right to see if there is anyone on the final. There is no one, so we are good. Let's make another call on CTAF. Sunnyside traffic November 2446 Zulu entering runway 25, Sunnyside. Now let's enter the runway. I will stop here, heading indicator is showing 255. Full power, RPM is rising and oil pressure and temperature are green. Let go of the brakes, right rudder, not enough right rudder, terrible centerline job. Airspeed is live, looking for 55 knots and 55 rotate. Too steep, lower the nose a bit and try for 74. I'll wait for 400 AGL, so about 1200 feet before I start turning towards Yakima. There it is. Let's start our climbing right turn. Next frequency we need is ATIS for Yakima, and that's 125.25. I'll switch my COM to active frequency to 125.25. Let's make one final call on Sunnyside CTAF. Sunnyside traffic November 2446 Zulu, exiting airspace towards Yakima, final call, Sunnyside. Go back to COM1 and switch active to tower frequency for Yakima. I'll start the descent about 10 or 11 miles from the airport, and before we enter Yakima Class D airspace, we will call tower and get clearance for entry. I'll zoom out on the map on the G1000 MFD so I can see how close I am to the airport. Yakima is over the hills there. Let's switch to Yakima ATIS frequency and get the weather at the airport.
Yakima Air McAllister Field, information Papa. 2140 Zulu. Wind 230 degrees at 8 knots. Visibility 410 miles. Sky clear. Temperature 16. Dew point -7. Altimeter 2975. Arrive runway 27. Departing runway 27. Advise on initial contact you have. Information Papa.
We got the altimeter, information Papa, runway in use is runway 27. At this point I will enable the autopilot and put it in nav mode so it can follow the magenta GPS track. And I will switch to external camera view so I can show you what the views look like from the outside of the airplane. "15 miles from the airport. Maybe in 3 or 4 more miles I will make my call to Yakima Tower. Yakima Airport is somewhere here after the hills. Coming up close, so I will call the tower now. Yakima Tower, November 2446 Zulu, southeast of the airport at 4,400 feet with information Papa, coming in for full stop.
November 2446 Zulu, Yakima Tower, make straight in runway 27, report 2 mile final.
Straight in for runway 27, will report 2 mile final, 46 Zulu. We have been cleared to enter the airspace. At this point I will disconnect the autopilot and the flight director, and we will start our descent towards runway 27. And I'll turn slightly right so we can make in a straight in approach for runway 27. I see the airport now and it's right here, and that's runway 27. Elevation at Yakima is 1099 feet and pattern altitude is 2099 feet, but we are doing a straight in approach so we don't need to do a full pattern. Landing lights on. 4 flight shows entered Yakima Class D. Okay. We are below 110 knots, so I will deploy flaps 10 here. "2.8 miles, let's go to flaps 20. Let's call tower as we were instructed. Yakima Tower 46 Zulu, 2 mile final for runway 27.
November 46 Zulu, runway 27, clear to land with 210 at 13, gust 32.
Clear to land runway 27, 46 Zulu.
Aircraft calling Prescott ground, say again.
Skycatcher 162 Yankee Echo at parking Zulu. Taxi for takeoff with information Quebec.
Flaps 30. I can see 3 red, so we are lower than the glide slope, and that's because our RPM is too low. I will increase power a bit to stop descending. Airspeed is too low, 58. That's getting close to stall territory. I'm not comfortable. Let's pitch down to regain airspeed. About 64 or 65 knots. Two full backwards turn on the trim to make it easier to land. Clear threshold, power to idle. That's a hard landing. And the same centerline troubles. We will create snake lines on the runway. Let's call tower and let them know that we will exit at Alpha 2. Yakima Tower 46 Zulu taking Alpha 2.
November 46 Zulu, taxi to parking via Alpha monitor ground.
Taxi via Alpha monitor ground 46 Zulu. Ground is 121.9 and switch. We are monitoring ground. Landing lights off. Flaps up. And we have completed PilotEdge first flight. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.